Hey guys, welcome back to Film Title. Today we'll talk about the most nauseating moments on Dr. Pimple Popper. Let's head into it. Number 1. Decade-old buffalo hump. Paul Duke had been leading a typical life until he noticed a growth on the back of his neck. Paul claimed that he first observed the growth when he was a teenager, when he reflected on his past. While the bulge didn't give him any discomfort, everything changed when Paul began to experience pain nearly 10 years ago. Doctors discovered that he had an underlying issue affecting his sciatic nerve. Paul was recommended to take steroids to aid with the pain. He saw that as the discomfort subsided, the growth grew in size. It got to the point that he couldn't move his head. Paul stated that it had harmed his self-esteem, as well as his ability to work. Paul became a punchline as a result of the bump, and at the same time, Paul disclosed that because he worked as a heavy vehicle driver, the bump required him to move his full body to the side while changing lanes, putting him in danger of an accident. Paul chose to seek help from Dr. Sandra Lee because he was afraid that things would stay the same. Dr. Lee is recognized for her ability to heal bumps, boils, and tumors, but she was unprepared for what Paul had in store for her. Dr. Lee initially mistook the bulge for a buffalo hump or a lipoma when she examined it. A buffalo hump is a massive fat on the back of the shoulder that forms over time. A lipoma, on the other hand, is a benign fat tumor that can appear anywhere on the body. Dr. Lee opted to make a cut to investigate what was going on. To make sure she got it right, she identified the growth to be a lipoma as soon as she performed the cut. Dr. Lee was relieved to see that the lipoma was forcing its way out. She revealed that it was caught inside because it had been on the back for nearly a decade. Dr. Lee struggled to keep things neat while trying to pull out all the lipoma out of the pocket. She admitted that it was the most complicated lipoma she'd ever seen. Despite this, she persisted and told Paul that the lipoma in its pocket would be removed completely. Dr. Lee was successful after spending a long time trying to remove the lipoma. She patched up the wound so it would heal quickly. When Paul glanced at his back after the surgery, he was relieved to realize that the remainder of his days will be happier and easier. Number 2. Grain-like freckles. Juan, a 25-year-old Tustin, California resident, was featured on the January 10 episode. Juan had grain-like freckles all over his nose and face since he was 10 years old. They just became bigger and worse as he got older, and he recently developed a tumor on his face, just in the corner of his eye. His illness is known as tuberous sclerosis, and it has put an end to his social life. He wanted to enroll in film school and begin his career, but his physical appearance has always held him back. His sister Indira reassured him that his skin problem would not prevent him from accomplishing his goals, because he was intelligent enough to achieve so. He sought treatment from Dr. Sandra Lee, who accepted his case. The doctor began by removing a cyst from the bulge beside his eye, before moving on to the remainder of his face. She utilized an electrosurgery equipment that gave forth a burning odor, which Dr. Lee compared to that of burnt hair. There was a lot of blood, but once the treatment was over, Juan was able to see his nose again, which had previously been obscured by the granular lumps. Fans who are addicted to seeing Dr. Lee on Dr. Pimple Popper online and would like to meet her in person can do so at skin physicians and surgeons. Everything begins with a $120 consultation charge that will be applied to your future treatment. There are a variety of procedures and treatments available. Number 3. Honorable mention. Doris. Doris has an unwelcome visitor who has taken up residence on her face. Doris said that she has a 55-year-old blackhead that she finally wanted to get rid of in one of the previous seasons of the show. Doris noted that while the blackhead hasn't caused her any problems, she'd like to see her face without it. Dr. Lee ultimately succeeded in removing it after a long battle. She used the blackhead to indicate how difficult it was to bang on the table. She then removed the last blackhead that had clung to the pocket's wall. Dr. Lee said that the blackhead had stretched the skin because it had been there for so long. Dr. Lee sewed the skin after she removed all the blackheads to ensure there is no area for the blackhead to return. Doris, she joked, had given her a facelift for half the price. Doris was pleased with the ultimate result, and she was relieved that the blackhead had finally been gone after all those years. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it, hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.